Hi, it's Dave from DaBelly. Today we're at the Marquee. We're going to talk to Karl from Nile. Welcome to the Marquee. Welcome to Phoenix. Congratulations on the new record. You're laughing already. By the way, this is the second time we've done this.
It helps. The girl behind the camera in the bikini. I mean, how do you not smile?
Well, yes.
I mean, you put the girl in the bikini behind the camera, you get people like at their smiley best.
You've given it away, and I hope that the other bands that are watching this will have that same expectation.
I'll try not to look. You ever seen the girl that does the topless radio interviews, right? And the funniest thing about it is like guys try not to look, right? Yes. But everyone's waiting for them to look, and so when they do look, it's hilarious. Yeah, because they're trying so hard not to look.
It's kind of like Naked News over in Toronto, is it? They do Naked News. They sort of go through it, and you try to be the straight guy. You try to stare, but glaze over eyes.
Come on, we're only human. Yeah.
And it's a good thing. Yeah, it really is. Well, That Should Not Be Unearthed is the record. It's been out for about a year. You've been touring around, and it's got great reviews on it. I'm really impressed with the album itself. Tell me a little bit about putting the record together.
Well, we worked with Neil Kernan again. He mixed this time. We recorded the drums at Sound Lab with Bob Moore, and then did everything else at my place. And we had a lot of fun this time.
As opposed to normal, or?
Normal would be not having fun, working like relentless slave dogs. So we're all, touched by workaholism. Yeah, so this time, though, we had fun, and I think you can hear it in the tracks. There's a real sense of joy, metal, just fun on this record. I mean, considering that fact, it is completely, totally brutal music, but it's fun. Like, those smiles you see on wrestlers' faces when they're body slamming their opponent. It's that kind of fun.
Brutal with a smile, yeah. Okay. Well, this music certainly, or this album certainly is a bump for you. The sound it's bigger. Was that intentional going in? You just wanted to get a fuller sound to it?
Yeah, that was part of the game plan. We wanted to kind of return to earlier Nile, where it was just big and heavy, and that was its raison d'etre. It had to be heavy. Technicality was a secondary consideration. Of prime importance was just sheer metal heaviness.
And technicality was my next question, actually. Bands were bumping it further and further every album that comes out. Music is becoming far more technical than it was when I was a kid, when I was playing. Is it possible to go too far?
Well, that's a fabulous question. I think that as long as one doesn't lose sight of the fact that it has to be listenable, somebody has to be able to listen to it, right? Then I say, the sky's the limit, but, hey, songwriting counts too. If you alienate all your listeners with some really awesome guitar riffing that no one cares about but you haven't done the universe any favors, right? We already have enough disposable, over-technical metal that amounts to a fucking hill of beans.
There's some of that.
Yeah. It's I can't remember who said it. It's a grand cacophony signifying nothing. Right. Well, there should be some songwriting in there too. So I think as long as bands remember, hey, people got to listen to this, then yeah, go on, bring it on.
All right. Aside from your album, which made me go, holy shit, wow. What albums have you heard? You don't have to mention bands, but are there any albums that you've heard that have just set you back in your seat recently?
Crisian, they are always just crushing. I've recently become a fan of Revocation. Their guitar player, Dave, is a fabulous guitar player. I really, really like what they do. They're very musical. It is like Berkeley jazz shred, but it's very musical, and I really appreciate that because so much of our genre is mindless, unmusical noise that, when you finally hear somebody do something musical with the idiom, it's very refreshing.
See, now that's the argument I get from people that don't listen to this genre of music, is that it's mindless and it shreds and it's a lot of noise, and they're missing the musicality that is in it. So many of you guys have been to Juilliard or been to Berkeley. They've put the time in. They've learned their craft, and they're phenomenal guitarists, bass players, drummers, and they don't get the recognition that a mainstream artist might. Sure. Only within the genre itself. You know? Mm-hmm. No arguments?
No, I mean, that wasn't actually a question. That was more like a statement and like, no. I mean, you just spoke the truth. So you're preaching to the choir. I think, there are some amazing bands in our genre. They do not outnumber the unamazing bands.
Always the unfortunate truth in every genre.
It is the truth, but, that's just the way it is. The universe works that way.
So I read that you expressed an opinion that the industry and the genre has changed so much that we may never see another iconic band like Judas Priest or so many other ones out there. Right. The opportunities may be slipping away. Is it the music diluted, or what would you say?
I'd say it's multiple factors. One, the sheer wall of apathy that faces young bands now, because there's so many bands and music has become devalued. I mean, you can just go anywhere on the internet, point and click, and hear something. And if you don't like it, then 0.3 seconds later, you can click on something else. So, there's a giant wall of apathy. Second, the scene is scattered. Back in the day, before the internet, way back then, yeah, when we were still wearing loincloths and slaying animals with stone implements, cooking our meat over a roasted fire. Yeah, that's fine. Cooking our feet over a roasted fire. Anyway, back in the way back, just the entire way music was marketed to the mass public was completely different. Record companies invested in building a band's career. So a band might have 3 or 4 albums of, really getting themselves pushed, before the record company decide, let's move on to the next thing. Now you're lucky if you even get one shot. And, where's the time to learn your craft, hone your skills? There's also far too many bands nowadays. Bands are making records before they're ready to, which I think contributes to a glut of available product and a grand devaluation of the art form. People don't appreciate it. And you know what? It's almost rightly so, because also in this age, there's kids climbing out of the womb that can shred guitars and blast drums.
That's amazing.
So, okay, all right. So you scratch your head and think, wait a minute, if I could watch this 7-year-old, play circles around Randy Rhoads on the internet, and she's wearing a dress, where's the value of the old guy that spent his whole life, learning his craft and paying his dues? Where's his return on that life investment? There isn't one. Now you got guys that, decide from an early age, well, this might be fun. Is this a fucking career? No, this is not a career anymore. This is a bad career choice. It's weekend warriors. So now you got lots of younger musicians that aren't necessarily dedicating their lives to it. They'll do it for a couple years and see if anything happens, and it doesn't, then they quit. But there's a gazillion of them.
Now I'm going to turn the finger and point it partly back, in that today bands such as yourselves, you put out a new record and all the fans yell, I want to play through, I want to see what you did on guitar, I want to see what you did on bass. And so you sit down in front of the camera and you play the pieces, and you're basically teaching the guys how to play. And they're coming back and they're grabbing it. Back in my day, we didn't have the internet. We learned how to play the songs wrong. And in some cases, that wrong made us turn around a little bit and it added creativity to it. We discovered a new twist or a turn in a record. We did the best we could to learn it right.
Right, I remember dropping the needle, 500 times to get that Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin lick, and still didn't have it quite right. Yeah. But it's kind of like musical development is not a straight linear path. It can go in many different directions, and sometimes that learning it wrong does take you down the wrong path, but it leads you to somewhere. Well, it doesn't matter where B is. If you're trying to go from A to B, B doesn't necessarily have to be anywhere. It just has to be somewhere else other than A. So there you go. You're over there. That other guy learned it, and he's over there, right? 10 people learned Stairway to Heaven, right? Only one of them's got it right, but you know what? The one guy that got it wrong might be a Paul Simon level songwriter. And so what if he played the fourth chord in there as a 3-note chord instead of a 5-note chord? I mean, who cares? So what? Music is very subjective. It's not like math or science, which are absolutes, right? 2 + 2 = 4. It's always going to fucking equal 4, right? But music isn't like that. It's basically entertainment.
Music is from the head and the heart, right?
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You made a statement earlier, way back in the dawn of time, one of those interviews you did, about making an opinion and kind of holding your tongue because you saw the value of just sort of remaining within the genre and saying something about music and being about music, as opposed to reaching out and offering an opinion on cheese. Limburger's your favorite, could be cheddar, who knows? But somewhere along the line, there's people who don't like that, they like Swiss, and the argument ensues, and then the name calling, and it's the internet, and oh my God. So recently, Will Smith made a statement over in Abu Dhabi regarding cleansing. It was just a stupid statement he made off the cuff in one of his interviews. And I was wondering if you had that same situation, perhaps, where you had said something in an interview where you knew at the moment, you wished you could take it back, or later on it got twisted up. Maybe you weren't doing a video interview. And
It happens all the time. Yeah. Especially in this age of metal media clickbait journalism. I've seen interviews I've done where I know for a fact I played it absolutely straight, and they hunted for something to take out of context and bend, and then they make that the headline, and it has almost nothing to do with what you were talking about. And then you got kids like getting mad at you, but the website, they're doing that on purpose because that generates hits. It's a shameful and disgusting trend, and shame on those journalists who submit and succumb to that temptation.
Well, that's fair enough. At the same time, you guys have an opportunity to say things to kind of enrage the journalist, in that you can make an inflammatory statement about anything. We'll go back to that cheese. We'll go back to that Limburger. You might sell a few more records, but we don't sell records today, so that don't matter anymore. And
what matters is how many clicks you have on your website. That's what matters. So you can get that 0.8 of a penny in advertising revenue. So yeah, I could speak volumes on this topic.
You may by your silence. Who knows? We're out on the Summer Slaughter Tour. Actually, you're out on the Summer Slaughter Tour. Great tour for you guys. 11 bands, 10 bands touring right now. This is a big summer deal. What else do you got going on with this, after this? Talk a little bit about the tour and how it's been for you.
Well, I think Summer Slaughter has been a wonderful tour to participate in. A lot of our friends here that we've known and loved for years, Cannibal, Suffocation, Crisian. I mean, come on. Yeah, it's like a brotherhood of metal here. So that was reason enough for us to sign on. To see our friends. The shows have been really good, all the way across the country. It's been hot as fuck. Yeah, holy motherfucking God. California was reasonable, though. Seattle and Portland were reasonable. The rest of the country, An inferno. Especially when you take all these people, you stick them in one building, right? And then it don't matter if there's AC or not. It's fucking hot.
World's largest DNA experiment.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely take showers afterwards.
So what do you got going on after this tour? I know you must have some more.
Yeah, later on, I think we're going to be doing a support slot for Overkill. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh yeah, really looking forward to that. Yep.
Have you begun any thoughts on your next record? Is it?
Nope, absolutely not. No, I got a few riffs here and there, but you know, we'll see what happens.
So you get an opportunity to write on the road. I know when we first came in here and you sat down, you were practicing, warming up.
I just practice on tours. At my age, I gotta practice, or it's yeah, use it or lose it.
You're doing a wonderful job. Like I said, with a smile. Well, thank you much for your time today. I appreciate it. Have a great show tonight. Looking forward to it.